Hey friends, I have heard so many women tell me that they're exhausted, they're fed up, they're frustrated, and some have even given up on dating altogether to find the partner that they seek. And honestly, I get it, right? Dating today can feel really rough. I have been there myself, and it is no walk in the park. What's ironic is that 41% of marriages in the United States and similar statistics in several major cities around the world end in divorce or separation, right? So you would think that there are plenty of options once we're single. So why does dating and finding Mr. Right feel so hard today? That's exactly why I created this video for you ladies. Why dating is so difficult, 5 reasons that you must know. We're diving into why dating can feel nearly impossible at times, and most importantly, what shifts that you can make to feel a whole lot better on your journey to finding that someone that's special and meaningful. Stick with me to the end of the video because I will share how you can actually enjoy dating. Yes, enjoy it. It's possible when you know how, and I'll show you how to get there. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Kimberly Anderson, a dating and relationship expert, and I guide professional divorced women go from feeling unfulfilled and frustrated with dating to reconnect with their feminine essence and to find the love that they seek. And before we dive into the good stuff, could you do me a quick favor? It might help other women like you who are on a similar journey. Let's call this our ladies' agreement. I create this content with the intention of helping you as much as I can. And in return, if you could share this video with someone who might benefit from its message, it's word of mouth referrals like this that help the channel grow and reach more amazing women like you. And while we're at it, please consider subscribing and hitting the little bell so that you'll be the first to know when new videos come out. Thank you so much for your support. It truly means the world to me. Also, if you're single and would like to improve your online dating skills, grab a copy of my free ebook in the comments below. It's free, so please check it out. Now, let's get back to why dating today feels nearly impossible. Let's break it down and make sure that you stick with me, of course, to the end of the video to get the full picture. First, let's face it, and I've been totally guilty of this myself, so let's cut to the chase. We want it, and we want it now. We live in a world of fast everything, right? When we're finally ready to date again after a breakup, it's like, ta-da, I'm here. You know, we're announcing to the world, I'm ready now. And we go on a few dates, maybe even 10 or more, and suddenly we're thinking, you know, why haven't I found Mr. Right yet? Naturally, we expect Mr. Right with our long list of criteria, right, to show up, adore us, and whisk us away to a life filled with love and happiness. It's like ordering from Amazon. You know, we've been thinking about buying that one book or kitchen gadget or whatever for weeks, maybe even months, and then suddenly we decide, you know, I need it and I need it now. Amazon Prime, here we come. And before we can blink an eye or pronounce the word Massachusetts, it's in our hands. Everything is so instant nowadays, right? We want an app, we download it. We want dinner, just tap on your phone. But here's the thing, when it comes to the right man and the right relationship, if he doesn't show up after a few dates or even a few months, we can start to feel discouraged, right? We can start to think that dating is hopeless, that all men suck, you know, he's never going to come into my life. Does this sound familiar at all? But what if there is something bigger at play here? What if there's something called divine timing? Let's just say, what if? Right? Maybe there's a reason Mr. Right hasn't shown up yet. Perhaps there are new types of men that we're meant to meet or lessons that we're meant to learn along the way. From personal experience, I thought I knew exactly the type of man that I wanted to date until I started dating again. And to my surprise, I discovered that there were qualities and types of men that I had literally not even considered. For example, I never thought that I would date someone younger than me until one man approached me one day and it completely opened my mind to new possibilities. If you're curious about this, I've done a video on this topic and you can check it out at the end of this video. So what is my point? A little patience and trust can go a long way. You know, maybe there is a reason you haven't found Mr. Right yet. Instead of forcing things, try letting go a little bit and enjoy the process. After all, not everything in life comes with instant delivery. Okay, a second reason that dating can feel so difficult is that we tend to transfer our frustrations from one experience to the next. So One guy, for example, ghosts us or acts like a jerk, and suddenly we're carrying all that frustration into our next interaction or a couple interactions down the road. For example, we might think, well, Dan ghosted me. After all, I was so nice to him. So why shouldn't I ghost this next guy, John, right? And just like that, we've evened the score, or so we think. But often it goes deeper than that, right? We bring past relationship experiences, heartbreaks, and wounds into our new interactions without even realizing it. These old wounds become triggers. Let's say your ex-boyfriend, Bob, used to tease you, but his jokes were mean-spirited and tore down your self-esteem. If you've never fully let go of that hurt, you might find yourself reacting defensively when a new guy, like Jason, playfully teases you. Why? Because those old wounds are still there, influencing how you perceive and how you respond to new situations. This is how we unknowingly transfer our past into the present, creating biases that can totally sabotage new relationships. It's like starting off on the wrong foot, often without even realizing it. So have you ever wondered why finding a relationship is so hard? Because when we're not getting what we want, a meaningful relationship, we can fall into the trap of projecting our past onto new people, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Well, Dan ghosted me, so all men must suck. If all men suck, well then why shouldn't I ghost them too? Dating is horrible, and there are no good men out there. Right? And before we know it, we're ready to give up on dating and a relationship altogether. Here's the truth though. These frustrations are, of course, totally normal and common, but they don't make dating any easier. So what is the solution here? Well, the key is to observe our own behavior objectively. You want to ask yourself, how am I behaving in my dating experience? I know it is easier said than done. We are often really blind to our own patterns and our shadows. But if we can take a step back, even just a little bit, and reflect on how we're showing up in the dating process, we might see that we're unintentionally adding to our stress, right? So by focusing on what we can control ourselves, we can begin to let go of our frustration, loosen our grip on the outcomes, and approach dating with a lighter, more open perspective. What about you? Does any of this resonate with you so far? Let me know what you think in the comments. And I would genuinely love to hear from you. And while we're at it, here's a gentle reminder to share this video with someone who could benefit from its message. And also, of course, to consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much. Now, the next reason why dating is so hard is that we take things personally when it often has nothing to do with us. Now, this one is really important. Let's go back to ghosting, okay? You're having a conversation and suddenly the man that you're chatting with just disappears, right? And at first you think, oh, well, there might be just a delay in his response. So you keep checking your phone, and then the questions start rolling in. You know, what did I say? What didn't I say? Did I come across the wrong way? Now, I'm not saying how we text can't impact communications, because of course it can. It's a skill to navigate texting and dating. But here's the thing. Often ghosting has absolutely nothing to do with us. Think about it. Okay, he could have been pulled into a big project at work. His dating life may have been deprioritized, or maybe one of his kids had an issue at school and his focus totally shifted there. Now, I'm not excusing ghosting. A simple text can do wonders. But my point is, we don't always know what's happening on the other end, right? And yet we jump to conclusions that everything is about us. Another possibility is he's just not looking for a relationship or is plain inconsiderate. And instead of seeing this as a gift, an opportunity to move on to someone who's more considerate and ready for a relationship, we internalize it, right? We get upset with them, or even worse, with ourselves. But here's the truth. Carrying this negative energy does not serve us. It's one of the reasons that dating can feel so draining. Now, I completely understand this. I have felt this way many times in the past, but in these moments, I've had to pause and ask myself, am I drawing conclusions about myself that aren't true? What if this has nothing to do with me? And what if there's a bigger picture that I'm not seeing? What if this person ghosting me is actually doing me a favor? By shifting your perspective, you can free yourself from the weight of these situations and open the door to someone who does deserve your time and your energy. All right, number 4, we are so focused on ourselves and our own experience that we forget about the men that we reject, ghost, or treat unpleasantly. Now, ladies, let's take a moment to put things into perspective. I get it. Dating is not easy, and it can feel really frustrating at many times. But let's talk about something that we overlook. As humans, we tend to focus on the negatives in our lives. This is called negativity bias. Negativity bias is our tendency not only to notice negative events more readily, but to also dwell on them. In fact, neuroscientific studies show that the amygdala, the part of our brain that processes emotions, responds more strongly to negative stimuli than to positive ones. When we feel stressed out about dating, this bias kicks in, right? We focus on negative experiences which create negative emotions like fear, like anxiety, like doubt, or sadness. And these emotions can make us feel like victims, as if we are the only ones struggling to find someone and being treated unfairly. From there, it's easy to conclude, of course, that dating is horrible and that men are the problem. But what if we paused and took a broader view, right? What if we also acknowledged the men that we've said no to, the men that we've rejected, or even the men that we've ghosted, right? When we think about this, it's clear that there are decent, kind men out there. We just haven't found the right one yet, the right ones for us as an individual. This shift in perspective is something that I learned during my own dating journey, especially when things felt really hard and hopeless. Taking note of these things helped me realize that while dating can be definitely challenging, that there's a balance in the process, right? Okay, number 5 is unrealistic expectations. Now, I am not a fan of settling or dumbing down to find a partner. None of that. But ladies, I am going to be honest with you here and share my experience. Now, I'm not saying that this applies to you, but I've had plenty of women tell me that there are no men that are good enough for them. They'll have a long, laundry list of requirements: tall, handsome, rich, kind, honest, athletic, and the list goes on and on and on. Yet they haven't really asked themselves, who am I willing to become to attract the man of my dreams? Many haven't been entirely honest about their own blind spots, and some risk coming across as entitled without even realizing it. Let's face it, social media has glamorized relationships to the point of creating unrealistic standards. It promotes the idea, that you need to be endlessly adored, catered to, and have him bow down to your every wish. At the same time, you're told to cut him off, the moment he makes even the slightest minor mistake. Now, I am not saying that a man should not show strong interest or that you should not set boundaries. Of course, these things matter and are important, but these skewed ideals of perfection and extreme boundary setting will not serve you in dating or even in a long-term relationship. There's another reality that we need to consider: a gender imbalance. Many successful independent women are seeking high-value men, but the pool of these men are relatively small. Now, when we combine unrealistic expectations with this imbalance, it creates a cycle of disappointment, right? And that's why dating can feel so hard. But here's the good news. When we get clear on what we really want and need in a man versus what's just nice to have, we can make better, more grounded dating decisions. And when we take an honest look at ourselves, we might realize that our best bet is to invest in us, not just enhance our dating success, but to improve our long-term happiness. Whether we're in a relationship or we're not in a relationship, our happiness is something that we determine, and no one can take that away from us at any point in time. So if dating leaves you disappointed, remember that investing in your own well-being will always pay off. Becoming the best version of yourself for you and to attract the right partner is the greatest investment that you can make. What do you think? Have you tried any of these approaches before? Do you think that it will help you in your dating life? I would really love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the video that I mentioned earlier on why younger men love older women and what you need to know. And until then, I'm sending you, as always, lots of love.